Good evening, friends. Thank you for your attention. I'm Onubu Yukiria Ngozi from Kwale, Delta State. I'm here to present to you Nginspires. Anyway, if you're just joining me, I'm a young lady. Yes, I'm a lady, and this short time we're having now is going to help us in terms of relationship and how to manage our relationship. Then it goes on and helping you to tackle some issues you have as a single. So we're reaching out to people that are mature. I'm talking about singles, mature singles that are up to the age of taking decisions. But we're talking about relationship basically. So if you're mature, that's fine. You're welcome to this program. Okay, I want to talk about relationship, connection between entities, bodies, people. And we have different types of relationship. We have, you all know now, a relationship with your spouse, with your God, with your family, business, partners, colleagues, etc. So I want to talk about family because it's the foundation of every relationship. You understand what I mean by it's the foundation of every relationship. Now there's a chart, like a hierarchical chart I'm supposed to bring to you guys, but okay, just listen attentively as I say. I'll try and use words. I'll try to make sure that even if you feel you were not okay, let me still go back this way. I want to use words that even a layman can understand. So in case I'm going out of proportion, you can still call me to order. So I want to talk about how a family chart looks like. A family relationship ought to be like. An original one. Now, on the table in an umbrella of hierarchy, you know the way umbrella goes. There's the source, which is your creator. Yes, is the originator, is the creator of heaven and earth. Yes, and the creator of you and I. He created us in his own image, after his likeness. If you're a Christian, you understand where I am coming from. So God is our source. So there's a source, and our parents. We have two parents, our mom and our dad. Our dad is the breadwinner. So he's next to God. Then we have our mothers under our father. Under the mother, you have the children. So if your family is going in this order, God has blessed you. But for the rest of us that may not understand what I just did now, God is our source. You understand, originally. And he has given us the father as the head of the womb. Then, our mother receives orders from our father. She is submissive to our father, while our father draws strength from God. That is how it ought to be. Our mothers are incubators. You understand? So they are made to incubate, to carry. You understand? To process. That is what they are made for. They take orders from the father. Don't get it twisted. If your dad is the breadwinner and things ought to be where it should be, as your father is working and providing for the home, the mother is busy making sure the children, every other person is on check. Because definitely she gives report to her husband. And her husband should draw his inspirations from his maker. Yes. Okay, now I understand. Okay, when we come under the children should obey. As a child, you don't have a life of your own. As a child, your parents oversee everything that happens in your life. So, as a kid, whatsoever they give to you, that is what you should have. Yes, originally. Your work as children is to obey, be obedient, respect, listen. Now, I want to come under this light to state that as a child, you do not have the right to make decisions of the parents to give birth to you. That is why we are here today. So being under your family, irrespective of what has gone through, what has gone wrong, is God's plan for you to be implanted in that family. Yes, you heard me. For you to be under the family you are in is God's plan. And there is purpose for every child. Now, if this hierarchical order of family relationship is thwarted based on the fact that in some families, the mothers now take the role of the fathers. They provide, they still incubate, they do everything because maybe the father had failed. If as children you didn't have opportunity of having your parents in this hierarchical order and things went wrong, then your life took another shape. Even if as a child you still had this beautiful order, but your father had lost the glory of his source, his maker. Whew. I know you might have as well gone through a lot. That is the problem, having any part of this hierarchy terminated. When you go away from your source, those are things that happens. Those issues you face, these issues you've passed through. I'm talking to adults. The issues you passed through as children, you passed through them because of all those protocols that were broken. Remember, where there is no order, I wonder what will come up. Now, the essence of this video is to help you put your life back in shape. As much as your parents were not grounded enough to reconcile with your source, as long as your parents did not have the understanding of this hierarchical order, as long as your parents did not have the understanding of their place, or places rather, in a family tree, when you don't understand your place in a society, you'll be floating. If you don't understand your place in a family, you'll still be floating. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, some of our families lost it. Some of us grew up without the love of our parents because it was thwarted by one or two. It's fine. Your parents were not there for you. But as an adult, this is where we're going to now. As an adult, you have control over your activities. You have control over what happens around you. You can reorganize these things as a single. You can reorganize every cord that has been broken. You can put them in place. That is why you are an adult. There are stages. You were a child, you became a teenager, now you're an adult. I don't want to know how you have wasted all those years. I don't want to know all the years the canker worms had eaten from you because of the thwarting of this family order. Majority of us, I'm using the word us because as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself. You understand? So don't misunderstand me. Majority of us grew up in environments where we lost it all. I'm trying to see terms that I would use not to overshoot. You understand? And not to undershoot. I want all of us to be on the same page, please. Majority of us, because of this family tree, you understand, this umbrella being thwarted, a lot of us lost it. Now, as an adult, you are in control of what you want to do. You want to study, you're not married. That's what I'm talking about. Majority of us that are single. Majority of us right now, we have failed. We can still come back and do things because we're in control of our time. We're in control of our resources. We're in control of the people that comes around us. Unlike when we were growing, we had lots of people making decisions for us. Even our parents telling us courses to study. Because what they knew was medicine and surgery. They know there is law. They know there is engineering. What about fishery? Computer science, they didn't know. But now, we're mature, we read, we've come to know that there are other courses and we can now make decisions. We can now work, provide for ourselves. Because as our parents are aging, or some of us do not have, we now start assuming responsibilities that we're not supposed to take up those responsibilities from them, because as we're growing older, they are becoming weak. So that is where the child of the man becomes the father of the man. I don't know if you understand where I'm going. So back to what I was saying, as a child or as an adult, you've passed that stage where they made the decisions, whether it was right or wrong. You know, when your parents told you to go stay here, they said this, you could not talk, and lots of things went wrong. I could tell you of an incident where a girl came from a broken home. You know, she had her parents got separated, and she was so tender. She had siblings, they were tender, and everybody were about their own business, but they had uncles to look after them. Now let me tell you, because the order was thwarted, the mother is no longer in the house, so the order is thwarted. Is not according in that umbrella, in that hierarchy. Now the mother is not there, so there's an error. The father tried his best to take care of those children. He gave them everything. He provided. But the incubator, the support was not there. So he found he had to take care of his siblings so the siblings could take care of the children. So now whatsoever the siblings they pass to the children, that is what the children they have. And believe you me, those siblings, they had their own lives to live. Some other ones had girlfriends, and they would bring the girlfriends to the house, and those children were same. Sometimes they bring those children to the same room and probably having an intercourse while the kids were sleeping, and you'd think those children, they were not listening. Now it got to the point where the father would travel, because it wasn't the same apartment. The father would travel, when he comes back, they take the children to see the father, and so on, and that was how it was going for a while. Probably the mom comes to visit them and goes back. You understand? So this uncle uncles that were taking care of these children, these little children, they had their lives all planned out. They had babes that were coming to visit. They had guys they had to go mingle with. So one of those days, one of those children of the kids reported the uncle to the dad because the uncle was bringing a babe and putting the children to sleep on the floor while the uncle and his babe would sleep on the bed and performing all manners of, you know what I'm saying, as an adult, because I don't know who's watching. So after the report, the dad was upset and he took those children to his own house. I'm trying to tell you, there was error. Now he has to just start managing his time with that of and trying to manage his kids. Now the kids, they have where they sleep, and the dad has where he sleeps. So the dad goes out and comes back. The children they go to good schools. Their mom probably comes, sneaks in to visit them and goes back because the father would not, for whatever reason, want to see the mother around there. So he got to a point when they were sleeping at night. When they sleep at night, some cousins of theirs, when they are being shut out in their various houses at night, they come to this children's apartment to come and sleep, hiding under the cover of extended family. You get, hiding under the cover of family after drinking, doing all sorts of rubbish. Those children, especially the girls, were now taken advantage of. It wasn't funny for those children. The children didn't have a relationship with their father. Remember, the mother is supposed to be the one for seeing all the things. Her eyes are supposed to be down. So when the mother is not there, her eyes are not down, then the children, they are open to any attack. Because the father cannot foresee his job and still comes back. And he will just meet whatever he dropped. Maybe not in the same shape, but maybe in pretense of the way he left them. That's how they will appear. So those children, in the course of sleeping alone, they had some cousins coming around. And one of the daughters got molested by a cousin of hers, older cousin. The cousin was so jealous that he'd always try to paint a very wrong image of the small girl to the father. But the father was quite understanding, not understanding the fact that the cousin had an agenda, but just like maybe he's protecting because he's the brother or some, the cousin or something, and it went on and on. And this girl could not talk. So at that point, there was nobody to relate with, to tell what is going on. She couldn't even relate to her own sister, her siblings, because the relationship, the gap was too much. And everything her head gave her, that was what she was taking in. It got to a point, it became enough. So after primary school, it was secondary school, and it went on, and she had this protective cousins. It wasn't one of her cousins. They had this protective, these cousins became so protective and fighting for her all along, but nobody knew the agenda. Sorry, I'm smiling, but it's not funny. I know some of you might understand. And it went on, and it became a norm. Like everybody this girl comes across takes tons of her. Everybody wanted to have their own portion of this small girl. A life's order was being thwarted. And this girl started thinking of better ways of being strong. But what can she possibly think out? Because when she goes to school, there's peer group. When she comes home, there are cousins. You won't talk about uncles that were taking advantage of this little girl. Friends. She was actually a very beautiful girl. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Quiet. Only talks when she's asked to. So it got to this point, she couldn't take it anymore. She was going into a higher institution. And she had her life all planned out. Like, when I grow up, when I get to the university, I'll take charge of myself. I would do everything possible to make sure I'm a strong girl. Nobody will boss me around. Nobody will force me into doing what I don't want to do. But the more she goes into her own ideas, her tiny thoughts, the deeper she started going into the wrong things or the ills of the society. She got into the university. Very beautiful girl. You know, the mother buys her this, the father gives her this. So she wasn't really lacking. But there was a part, there was no love in her heart. And the oppression from men was too much. There was only like a mentor to this poor girl. So she got into the university and had her life planned out that at so age, as she gets into the university, she's going to be a strong woman. Nobody messes with her. Number one. Number two, she's going to get married, get a course mate or date whoever that is in any good confraternity to protect her, because she lacked it. She was very quiet, remember. But where did all these thoughts emanate from? So she was drawing strength from within. It's not enough. That is why you have a superior. You should have somebody you submit to. When it gets so difficult, you should have somebody you can talk to. When things become so tough, like you can't even take it anymore, like your head cannot even produce anything meaningful, there ought to be somebody that can put you back in shape. But she had nobody like that. She had lost, even if she had a little relationship with her mom, she had lost the essence of family, and the relationship was so weak. She loved her mom so much, but something had gone wrong. So as time went on, same thing started playing out. From her tiny thoughts, they started becoming reality, and she got to school, started becoming bold gradually, mixing with people, and she met this kind of guy she always wanted. Her dream man, according to her, the ways of God are not the ways of men. To you, that point, that man is as the best you could describe outwardly. The inward part, you thought it was okay, but it was a total garbage. So what did the guy have in store for her? Nothing. He was sleeping with her. Then he started cheating, but the girl was still faithful. Remember, she was tampered earlier, so there was still no love, but she was just with this guy, thinking she could just build something. Like, she was in her first year, and instead of the guy protecting her, the guy was killing her emotionally, because he had several other girls who were coming after her, him. So one of those days, that was how he turned this girl, and at a point she was so weak, and she started asking herself questions. But if she had known, she would have stopped from there, but she did not. She couldn't stop from there. It got to one point she had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend was exposed, kind of, probably from her background. That's where this peer thing came from, and for the girl anyway. And her friend had some friends too that were cultists, and they liked this girl so much. But the friend told them, say, leave this girl. If this girl, the siblings, they catch you, you are gone. Just leave her alone. The girl, in fact, she will not like your kind of person. She's an ajebo, she's this. Judging from her innocence. They just met in school. So she didn't tell the girl about this whole thing. So one of those days, the girl was looking for her friend. I saw one, now, like seeing a friend's friend. And you're like, hey, good evening, how you doing? What's up? Okay, I'm looking for my friend and she's not here at the moment. I'm looking for her. I don't know where to find her. I'm still new. Do you have an idea? I know she's your friend and her phones are down.